Why you wouldn't survive 24 hours as a Roman gladiator. The average Roman gladiator died after just 3 fights. Think you could beat those odds? Most of us wouldn't last 24 hours in their sandals. In the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly why you'd fail as a gladiator. From the moment you wake up in the Ludusto, your likely bloody end in the arena. And trust me, it's far worse than you imagine. 1. From slave to slaughter. Your first morning as gladiator fodder. You wake up at dawn to the sound of iron doors creaking open. The cell you've been thrown into barely fits your body, and the iron collar around your neck has already left raw marks on your skin. This is your new reality as a gladiator, or more accurately, as gladiator fodder. That collar isn't just a symbol of your status, it's a constant reminder that you're property now. Most gladiators were slaves or prisoners of war who had no say in their fate. Your former life? Completely irrelevant here. A gruff instructor barks orders, yanking you into the training yard where dozens of other men stand in formation. Some bear scars that tell stories of survival. Others look as fresh and terrified as you. The morning air is crisp, but you won't feel cold for long. Your day begins with a training regimen that modern special forces would find excessive. The Romans didn't design this program to transform you gradually. It was created to either forge you into a weapon or break you entirely. There was no middle ground in the ludus. Within your first hour of training, your arms shake uncontrollably as you swing a wooden sword that weighs twice as much as the real weapon you'd eventually use in combat. This wasn't some training accident. It was deliberate. Historical records show gladiators regularly trained with double-weight weapons so that in actual combat, their real swords would feel light as feathers. Your modern muscles, conditioned perhaps for occasional gym visits or weekend sports, simply lack the baseline strength for this sustained effort. The instructors circle like vultures, wooden rods in hand. You see a man 2 rows ahead stumble through a drill sequence. The response is immediate. 3 sharp blows across his back that leave him gasping but still standing. He doesn't stop training. Nobody stops training. The documented discipline in gladiator schools would make modern military boot camps look like summer vacation. When you inevitably make your first mistake, the rod finds your back too, and you learn quickly that pain is simply part of your new normal. By mid-morning, you're guided to what passes for a meal, a bowl of barley porridge mixed with beans, and something gritty that turns out to be ash. This isn't some form of punishment. It's a carefully designed diet. The ash was rich in calcium, creating a nutritional profile that built strong bones and bodies capable of withstanding tremendous physical trauma. Your modern stomach, accustomed to processed foods, rebels almost immediately. The digestive distress alone would put most of us out of commission. But you don't get sick days in the ludus. A minor cut on your hand from weapon training begins to throb. In your previous life, this would mean a quick clean, some antibiotic ointment, and maybe a bandage. Here, the medicus merely packs it with a paste of herbs and wraps it with a strip of cloth. Infections killed as many gladiators as combat did. Without modern antibiotics, even minor wounds presented lethal threats. You notice men training with much worse injuries, their faces set in grim determination. You try making conversation with the man next to you during a brief water break. He regards you with empty eyes and turns away. Forming bonds here is dangerous. These men aren't your teammates. They're your future opponents. Historical accounts describe the psychological toll of training alongside people you might eventually have to kill for public entertainment. Every friendship formed carried the weight of potential future heartbreak. By midday, your muscles aren't just tired. They're in open rebellion. Your modern body, lacking the lifetime of physical labor that most ancient Romans experienced from childhood, simply doesn't have the foundation to withstand this intensity. Yet there's no rest period coming. The afternoon brings combat practice against seasoned fighters who view you as a moving practice dummy rather than someone to be taught. The truth becomes painfully clear. The gladiator training regimen would destroy your body on day 1. Modern humans simply lack the baseline strength, pain tolerance, and mental fortitude required even to complete the initial exercises. Historical evidence shows that many recruits didn't survive the training period at all, much less make it to the arena. As the sun begins to set on your first day, you collapse onto your thin straw mat, body broken and spirit not far behind. But a sickening realization dawns on you. The physical trials were just the beginning. Tomorrow brings more of the same, plus the growing psychological warfare as you prepare for your debut in the arena. You already know the grim statistics. Most gladiators died in their first 3 fights, and based on today alone, you won't be among the exceptions who beat those odds. Second, Arena of Death. Why your combat debut would be your last. The moment you step through the gates into the Colosseum, the sound hits you like a physical blow. 50,000 voices merge into one deafening roar that reverberates through your chest. Modern athletes might experience crowds of similar size, but not crowds actively thirsting for blood. Your blood. Psychologists who study performance anxiety would classify this as an overwhelming sensory assault. Your modern brain, unaccustomed to such visceral public judgment, freezes. Many gladiators describe their first arena experience as more terrifying than the combat itself. You're pushed forward into the blinding sunlight. The training that nearly broke you was just preparation for this moment. Real combat against someone who has survived previous fights. Your opponent isn't some novice. Records show most gladiators who made it past their first few matches developed specific killing techniques. You're facing someone who has ended lives before and knows exactly where to strike for maximum damage. The experienced gladiator across from you sizes you up, already identifying your weaknesses. Your armor, which seemed substantial during training, suddenly feels inadequate under the arena sun. That's because it was designed that way. Historical evidence from excavated gladiator armor reveals it was created primarily for spectacle, not protection. Major blood vessels and vital areas remained deliberately exposed to ensure injuries would be visible and dramatic for the audience. Your thighs, neck, and parts of your torso are essentially unprotected, offering prime targets. This wasn't an oversight,